Something is seriously wrong with food YouTubers.
I think that honestly a lot of my videos do well just because it's me. I know that people will watch this 2-minute segment of me doing this thing. Maybe 100,000 people will appreciate it, but I need 9 million people to appreciate it.
Celebrity chefs used to be exclusive to the Food Network.
The Food Network says no more. Do you have any doubt in your mind that African Americans are offended by the N-word?
I don't know, Matt. I have asked myself that so many times.
But these days, even the biggest celebrity chefs from the Food Network are actually right here on YouTube, competing for subscribers and collaborating with the top YouTube chefs.
The objective of this is get my Uncle Crown back.
Look at this tin foil, like you're making cocaine and meth. What is this?
It's windy.
This has been the standard for a while online, but over the past 2 years, we've seen multiple food YouTubers cross 10 million subscribers.
Last week, we hit 10 million subscribers.
I woke up this morning to see that there are now 10 million of us, which is crazy.
With that milestone passed, you'd think that these YouTube channels that people subscribe to for educational, entertaining content about food would stay true to what got them that far in the first place. But instead, what's happened is this intense slopification of their content.
Tortilla chips. They're chips made out of tortillas. You know what they are, I don't need to tell you. And I'm not gonna vomit some history from ChatGPT at you like I tried that one time.
Content that was once recipes and techniques that you wouldn't find anywhere else has morphed into fast food tier lists, all with the most AI slop clickbait thumbnails that your computer could imagine up for you.
Is this constant churn even worth it? Or should they just stick to what they're good at? That's why today we are taste testing every single fast food menu item across America.
So we're here at Costco. We're gonna be ranking Kirkland products.
But why? Why scale your content up just to become a MrBeast clone that does food videos?
What if you took 50 random people and put them in the same challenge to make their idea of the perfect burger in just 10 minutes?
I'm actually going to be working at what I consider to be the best fast food restaurant in America, Jollibee.
Out of all the food YouTubers on the platform, Joshua Weissman is the most guilty of this slopification.
I'm very formulaic on how long the attention span lasts per cut. And that's really the main thing that I follow.
This is Martins Lisis, and he's massive.
Can he really conquer all 10,000 calories in a single sitting?
So I've collected the rarest snacks from around the world, and today with the help of Cinna, we're gonna find out which limited snack is here to stay.
This is the story of how Joshua Weissman's jealousy, plagiarism, and unchecked ego led to one of the most embarrassing declines in modern YouTube history. And along the way, I'm gonna cook a 4-course meal for you guys, inspired by what Joshua Weissman could have been had he just stuck to the food and properly credited his sources. That's right, I'm taking off the leather jacket and putting on a chef's jacket, because we're doing a cooking episode. Alright, so the first dish that we're going to be preparing today for our 4-course meal is a spicy kale Caesar salad with homemade croutons and fresh Parmesan cheese. The first step to having a perfect kale salad is making sure that the kale actually tastes good. So what we're going to do here is we're going to soak the kale in some warm water. You can also massage it a little bit with your hands if you're feeling frisky. For the croutons, you can take any leftover bread you have lying around the house. I'm using pita bread here. Just set it and forget it, and then you've got fresh croutons waiting for your salad. Now for the dressing. You're gonna take 2 anchovy fillets, 1.5 cloves of garlic, and 2 Calabrian chili peppers destemmed. Now this is basically a standard Caesar salad, a classic Caesar salad dressing, just with the addition of these Calabrian chili peppers. They provide a really nice spiciness, but also a really fruity note. So then we're gonna crack 1 egg, squeeze the juice of half a lemon, add a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 2 shakes of Worcestershire sauce, and a generous grating of Parmesan cheese. Top it all off with some olive oil and blend it until it's emulsified and super creamy. Now to assemble the whole salad, all we do is add the dressing and toss it thoroughly, making sure everything's coated well. Then you add your croutons and some freshly grated Parmesan, and you've got a quick, spicy kale Caesar salad. Crisp, hearty, and full of flavor. Let's try the salad, Georgie. We've got a kale Caesar salad here with Calabrian chili oil. and homemade croutons made from pita chips. Georgie, maybe you just want to try the pita chip with the Parmesan. Very good for a Kale Caesar.
Hey guys, how's it going? So I didn't think I was gonna make this video. I thought I was gonna get over this, but I really just, I don't know, I just felt like I had to talk about it, so.
Joshua Weissman started on YouTube almost 10 years ago, doing simple, healthy recipes.
Hey guys, and welcome back to one of my weekly recipe videos.
He had a background working in fine dining restaurants, so it didn't take long for him to find a content niche making fancier versions of classic foods. His Popeye's chicken sandwich but better video is still one of the most successful videos to ever be released on his channel. This was the Joshua Weissman that people subscribed for, a chef with YouTube charm and restaurant chops. But that chef slowly vanished.
What makes a great chef is first being the business person. So if that's what makes a great chef, then to me, that's what would make a great content production studio.
Perhaps the most important part of presenting cooking videos on YouTube is crafting unique recipes that people are interested in learning. For some chefs, that means testing a recipe over and over, fine-tweaking different parts of it until it's just right. However, for Joshua Weissman, the recipe crafting process looked a little different. He wasn't actually refining any recipes. He was copying them. And the people he stole from weren't celebrity chefs. They're bloggers, home cooks, and smaller creators. Easy targets, in other words. One of those easy targets, or so he thought, was Joe Rosenthal.
I wrote all my recipes for somebody to come in with no knowledge of cooking and do them and be successful. I have a PhD in mathematics. When you're working on a PhD, like the number one rule is you cite your sources. And actually, I think there's this feeling in academia that you're more powerful when you have more sources. I truly believe that with the recipes I've published, I feel like I'm contributing something that helps people, that I think does something that other recipes don't. You know, if Weissman just said, yeah, this is a great hoagie roll recipe, I would have shared the video probably. I think he likely knew it was stolen. I don't think he cared. And I think it's probably a broader problem than him.
Not only did Joe figure out that his recipe had been stolen, he also found 3 other recipes that Joshua Weissman had fully tried to pass off as his own. He wrote about it all here in this article that I'll be referencing a lot throughout this video.
Who am I targeting with the Weissman article? It's like, I don't know, people who want to know the scope of the harm. So I think the most common refrain as far as defenses against plagiarism go, is that there's no copyright on a recipe, just copyright on the prose. I think it's wrong to steal from other people. And I think people have this idea that like nothing's original, so like I could just take this. As far as the recipes go, at some point he was giving employees like, here's a recipe, here's the stuff, go do this.
Joshua Weissman's plagiarism didn't just stop at recipes though. He was also stealing images of food from smaller creators to use in his thumbnails. Here's Joshua Weissman's thumbnail for his Cheesy Gordita Crunch But Better video. And here is a thumbnail from The Burger Dude for a video called Vegan Cheesy Gordita Crunch. Notice something? Or what about the vegan burger that he used in this thumbnail? All stolen images with no credit whatsoever to The Burger Dude. So if he's stealing the recipes and he's not even putting his own photos of the food in the thumbnail, what exactly is Joshua Weissman bringing to the table as a chef/content creator? The second course for our special 4-course meal is a rustic and simple steamed broccolini with lemon and just a little bit of Calabrian chili oil and Parmesan cheese. The first step is easy. All you gotta do is take the broccolini and cut it up into bite-sized pieces. Then you just toss it in the steamer, and 10 minutes later, you toss it directly into a pan with a little bit of olive oil and some freshly squeezed lemon juice. Just toss it around in there, make sure it gets all incorporated. Then it's as easy as just plating it up with a little drizzle of that Calabrian chili oil and some Parmesan cheese. We've got, yeah, I know you're very excited. We've got a lovely broccolini with lemon, chili oil, and some Parmesan. You want to try it? She didn't like it. She spit it out.
I would say in general, there seems to be a shift toward this kind of Mr. Beast like content, this MrBeast-ification of the food YouTube space. And Joshua Weissman's right there with the same vibe.
If you make a video and it does crazy views, the first thing you should do is look at it formulaically and figure out how to rinse and repeat that process.
This content shift towards watered down MrBeast style slop didn't come out of nowhere though. It all actually goes back to 2022, when Joshua Weissman's channel had just hit 5 million subscribers.
We hit 5 million subscribers. 5. I can't even count that much. I mean, I can do a 5 on my hand.
See, at the exact same time, another food YouTube channel was skyrocketing in popularity in ways that Joshua Weissman could only have dreamed.
This is MrBeast, the biggest YouTuber on the planet who also happens to be the worst cook I've ever met.
Help! Nick! Get the fire extinguisher! Put it out! Put it out! Oh.
But today, I'm gonna turn him into a master chef.
Chef Nick DiGiovanni had everything that Joshua Weissman wanted. Not only did his viewership skew younger, but Nick DiGiovanni's videos, sometimes on similar topics, would topple Joshua Weissman's videos in views. Now, anyone who watches these two creators would tell you that they're nothing alike, but Joshua Weissman just doesn't see it that way. Despite stealing multiple recipes and thumbnails at this point, Joshua Weissman was furious that Nick DiGiovanni was supposedly copying him. So did he confront Nick or reach out to him via DM? Of course not. Instead, he invited him over to collaborate on a YouTube short.
Homemade tater tots. Delicious.
According to Joe's article, Joshua Weissman spent the majority of that shoot trying to impress Nick DiGiovanni by making transphobic jokes towards his own employees. Even worse than that, towards the end of the shoot, when Nick tried to post promoting their collaboration, he noticed that Josh had him blocked on social media.
But I was there for the whole thing of, you know, trying to tag Nick, not finding him, and then Nick gets his phone. He's like, "Oh yeah, you can't tag me because you blocked me." It was like 5 people in the room, and all 3 of us looked at each other like, "Damn, that's embarrassing."
Behind the scenes, Joshua Weissman is competitive to a toxic degree with his fellow food YouTubers.
I'm very competitive. The competition is not me. I don't feel like I'm competing with anybody. And if somebody thinks that they're gonna beat me because they wanna make better content than me specifically, they will lose to me.
But when push comes to shove, he would never confront them. Instead, he directs all of his anger and ire towards his employees and people who he sees as beneath him on the social ladder. It was also around this time that Joshua Weissman's employees delivered to him a letter of grievances, specifically mentioning his anger and bad communication skills.
The next dish in our succulent 4-course dinner is going to be an herbaceous pesto pasta and just a little bit of Calabrian chili oil and Parmesan cheese. The first step to any good pasta is boiling the water and just putting a little bit of salt in there. Next, we're gonna go over and make the pesto. Now, pesto is a raw sauce.
Raw sauce!
So you start off with a clove and a half of garlic, a handful of pine nuts, and a very healthy grating of Parmesan cheese. Then we're just gonna add all of our washed basil, a little splash of water, and top it off with some extra virgin olive oil. Take out your immersion blender again and give it a good blend. Next, we're gonna add the pesto that we just made into the fresh pasta and just toss it around. Just start tossing it real good and just toss it around. And once you toss it around and it's all tossed around, then it's ready to plate. Now let's try the pesto pasta. Now, Georgie, you can't try this one because it's got garlic in it, so I don't want you to have it. Very good.
The simple reality is, if you are gonna run a business and you're gonna produce content and you're gonna pay people, please understand that it's going to feel very volatile. It's going to feel very stressful. It's going to feel very pressuring. And now all of a sudden the videos that you're producing, they have to perform.
It wasn't like the workplace problems just disappeared after the grievance letter. According to his employees, Joshua Weissman often had childlike tantrums where he threw food and cooking equipment.
He pretty much would talk to everyone like attacking them. He would yell at them. He would try to get in their face if he could. He knew whose face to get into and who's not. And he would raise his voice. Stuff like that. He would throw shit depending on who it was. Or he would just throw like a tantrum and just be yelling.
During the filming of the video, I Cooked Without a Kitchen, Joshua Weissman became so angry that he started punching a bowl of ice until his knuckles became bloody.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Joshua Weissman also had a really bad habit of forcing weird, overly sexual jokes at his employees, but that's not as surprising to me considering a lot of those jokes would make their way into his videos.
Unfortunately, in the beginning, I did a lot of sexual innuendos. I noticed that they got pretty good traction, so I did utilize that.
Look, my mouth can do a lot of things, just not that, respectfully.
You know, there's nothing better than some little cakes and little balls. Hello? Somebody?
One of the biggest targets of this harassment was Joshua Weissman's former assistant, Ulysses.
This is like whenever Ulysses eats. It's because he has a small mouth. It's also simultaneously big at the same time.
Things were always weird. Things were always weird from like day 3. And that's just kind of where all like the weirdness and stuff kicked in.
What kind of weirdness?
You know, like the sex noises, the stuff he would say to me, you know, saying I look cute that day or something like that. And just, you know, it just took off from there and it was just very consistent. It would be just randomly, like we would be shooting and some ass joke would come out and he'll be like, Ulysses, you trying to get fucked in the ass or you want to get fucked in the ass? And it was just always just like that type of shit. It was kind of like a locker room vibe for him, but just him. Like the first time I heard something out the door, I was just like, yo, like, are you guys that cool with him? Because I'm not.
After what Ulysses and the entire Joshua Weissman production team went through, Josh decided that it would be a good idea to upend the lives of everyone who decided to stick around and move them from Houston, Texas to Austin, Texas, over 2 hours away.
Man, since the day I met him, that dude's been like stuck on moving there. Because it's supposedly like the biggest food place in Texas. But I mean, I personally don't think that, but he just always wanted to move there. We're just kind of like, hey man, like this move is coming and we haven't gotten any information. Like, you know, what's the pay gonna look like? Is the company gonna help us move there? You know, how are we gonna move there? What we're gonna do with work? So when we start asking questions, shit start getting weird. He's afraid of confrontation with anyone he doesn't think he can bully around. Like, I was trying to have a conversation with him, like, hey, you remember what we talked about day one? This is not what you're telling me. In fact, you're not even telling me. I told him, hey, you know, it is a higher cost of living. This is what I think I should be getting because I know I can make it there with that. To live the exact same way I'm living here. No lesser, no better. I told him I wanted a $3,000 difference. He was like, no. And I was like, bro, you shit. $3,000.
Despite Joshua Weissman constantly refusing to give his employees a raise, his business was making more money than ever.
I did the math and I probably made about $15 million.
He wasn't big on like brands unless they were like the big brands, you know, the Lamborghinis, the Rolexes. When it came to music, Drake, right? Because Drake's at the top. Like, he was always into whatever is best, like the best. He had to have the best. One of his watches can probably pay for like 3 people's salaries.
He was reportedly being offered $100,000 to $200,000 per brand deal and had a GTA 5 level collection of luxury cars. But of course he was only able to have those things because he was paying his employees poverty wages. One employee was reportedly living in a 200 square foot apartment and was unable to pay rent when Joshua Weissman's studio relocation was delayed for 2 months. Other employees reported being misled about how much they would be paid, with raises always being promised but never being delivered. Meanwhile, Joshua Weissman's luxury watch collection continued to grow, adding watches like the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore, a watch that retails for $34,000. While his employees were sleeping on the floor in 200 square foot boxes, Joshua Weissman was getting his very own Architecture Digest video on his custom built home.
This is where I actually
live. The kitchen is over there, but we'll get to that after we get to know each other. Not to take the credit, but it was really me and my contractor that designed it, and my wife also, who had a lot of input, I should add.
What this shows more than anything is that you can have the fanciest equipment, most state-of-the-art studio, but if you don't treat your team with respect, your content suffers. The final dish in our 4-course dinner is a classic steak au poivre. The first thing that you need to do is salt your steak and toss it in a stinking hot pan. Once you've seared the steak sufficiently on both sides while maintaining a perfect temperature in the center, I'm not going to tell you how to do that, by the way. You can just figure that out. Once you've done all that, put it on the side to rest. Now we're going to work on the pan sauce. The first thing you need to do is toss in a handful of chopped shallots and a knob of butter. Now, before the shallots start to burn, you quickly deglaze the pan with a little bit of red wine and chicken stock. By that time, your steak will be well rested, and you can slice it against the grain and serve it with that warm pan sauce on top. We're gonna try the steak now with the special sauce. Let me get a manageable bite here. That's by far the best thing. You want to try that, George? What do you give that, 10 out of 10? Joshua Weissman may have started as a chef that wanted to teach, but somewhere along the way, he became a brand that wanted to win. Sure, becoming a YouTube brand means you get tons of money and network professional connections, but that's kind of the opposite of what YouTube is all about, especially YouTube cooking videos. It's about a community. The most important thing that you can do, especially if your YouTube channel starts to pick up traction on the platform, is find ways to uplift smaller channels. Whether it's sharing their recipes or highlighting their videos, community and collaboration is the thing that matters the most.
With Joshua Weissman, I think I cited I don't know if it was from mine or something else. It's like this video has 4 million views. And it's like that could be really a huge thing for any of the people that he stole from.
My name is Alex Novell. In New York City, I dwell in the darkness of the night.